Welcome to the Charlotte Beauty Universe, where it's universally acceptable to be the beautiful. This is a platform for all of my Solid Beauties to really just share their experiences, their love, their loss, their pain, their passion, their beauty, their bronze, and for them to be absolutely themselves. And I'm here to share a piece of this universe with the most honorable, amazing, inspiring Miss Shamiya Ware.
Thank you.
Hey, Teach. So, can you get my notes on camera person? Can you please hand me that? Go behind. So, I'm so glad that you're here, that you made it. And I just really wanted to talk to you because we had a lot of stories. Mm-hmm. You shared a lot of things. And with me being on this new thing that I'm doing, this new platform, I'm so glad that I'm actually doing it with you because, one of the things I loved about you was you facilitated a place of trust in a space where I was at a point where I was pivoting all these ideas and you didn't make me feel crazy. Mm-hmm. You didn't make me feel crazy. You made me feel like, it's okay. Like, it's actually like really good that you're like having these spurs.
Right.
That you're still figuring these things out. And I just want to know, like, what moment in your life, like, defined you, or what defined you as a person?
I don't think it's one moment that defined me. I think it's a number or many things that came together to define me. But when I was thinking about it, I think I broke it down into two categories. And so I think my upbringing, my childhood, I think that taught me how to be compassionate, knowing exactly where I came from. And then I think the moment I became a Christian, or the moment that I became saved and I became the servant of the Lord, I think those, if I was to pinpoint it into a smaller segment, I would think it would be those two categories.
Yeah, cause I even had a conversation with my cousin where we was talking a long time, and then we were talking about success, and then we were talking about God. Mm-hmm. And when I had that moment with my cousin, I was like, it was a time where, of course God chooses you, but like I had to choose God back.
Right.
So what was like your coming to Jesus story on that choose God back moment?
Ooh, I feel like I've been running from God a long time because I wasn't raised in the church. And so I really didn't understand the signs, I guess, of that this is the Lord calling you. I just didn't know. In my household, I lived with my mother, and she was a single parent, except for the different boyfriends that came in and out. And so we didn't go to church. We didn't talk about God. Probably the most religious thing that we had in our house was the Bible. Open up to the Lord's Prayer, but we didn't know the Lord's Prayer. Oh. We weren't even allowed to touch it. That was just like a centerpiece basically within our house, but that was pretty much it. And so my uncle, which is my pastor now, I look at him like a fatherly figure. My aunt, which is his wife, I look at them like a motherly figure. They came into my life when I was about 15. They've been in my life like off and on, but they really came in my life at a crucial point, which is when I was about 15. And they started picking me up, and bringing me to church. And so I kind of got a little bit of feel of the ministry. And then my uncle accepted his assignment as a pastor. And so he was under the tutelage of a bishop, and he went up in the ranks, and then God called him to be a pastor. He accepted his role as a pastor. When he did, he stayed in Massachusetts for a year, and then he moved to Florida. And so when he moved to Florida, he came by the day he was leaving. And he said, I just wanted to come by and tell you that I'm getting ready to go. We're getting ready to leave, but one thing that we're forgetting. And I said, what? They said, you can hop in the car right now. But I had just, yeah, it is crazy. But I had just had my first son. I thought that I was in love, and I knew that the person wouldn't leave with me. And so I declined. And I feel like that was like my one regret in life, is declining to get in the car. And so when he left, I don't know, I was kind of just going through the motions, I think, in life. And so I had a lot of spiritual experiences, but didn't realize it was spiritual experiences. A lot of, I guess you would say, now that ministry and understanding, a lot of demonic attacks. outright demonic attacks, and just didn't understand that that's what they were, and that was God calling me the whole entire time.
And it's crazy because even when I watched Sarah even said, she's talking about, I thought the teen pregnancy defined me and allowed me to become the pastor. But then she said she didn't realize that the plan was always to be a pastor,
right?
But the plan got modified. And even for you, like, you didn't know you were supposed to be called to move to Florida and do what you need to do, but the plan had to get modified.
Right. And so I think I hate to say the Lord pushed me, but it was kind of like the Lord pushed me. And so I had just got my taxes and just bought new furniture and everything. And then just out of nowhere, I was like, I gotta go. Like, I can't stay here. I'm tired of, being in this rut. I'm tired of I remember saying, there has got to be more to life than this. Like, there just got to be more. And so I didn't move to Chipley right away. Didn't get into church right away. I moved to Orlando. And I hated it. I hated it when I visited. So I don't know what possessed me to move there. But I hated it. And I was there for about 9 months. And then got a phone call from my uncle, and he was telling me, he said, you can always come this way. And so, being the stubborn person that I am, I refused to go back to Massachusetts because I felt like that would have been me saying that I was defeated, and I told people I wouldn't go back, and so I was too stubborn to go back home, and so I felt like my only option was to move towards Chipley, and so I did. And when I did, I really only planned on going to church on Sunday, during regular service, and I felt like that sufficed. That check that box off, and that was it. I was in the Lord's will. At least that's what I thought. But as I kept going, as I kept coming, I started feeling uncomfortable with just going to, a 10 o'clock service or 11 o'clock service. Like, after a while, that wasn't enough. Then it started with Sunday school. Then it started with Wednesday night. Then it started with, Friday night. Then it, I ended up joining an auxiliary. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm joining an auxiliary. I ended up joining the inspirational team. I can't sing. Why am I joining the inspirational team? And then it was a Friday night. And I remember the song and everything that was played. And God just slayed me in the spirit. And I was just never the same. Just never looked back.
And that's crazy. So all my solid beauties out there, y'all getting pushed, like, really follow it and really do what you got to do, because like I go to church first and third Sunday. I'm not doing all those services and stuff. But like, it really did transform you, and like, you had to really, eat it and keep going to get the transformation. Like, even for me, like, I did that church on the YouTube,
right?
And I had to continuously watch it all the time to get my mindset and my heart posture differently,
right,
to be in this position. So with that transformation, what made you even decide to become a teacher? Because I know growing up, you did not think like...
No, I didn't. Actually, during the very beginning in my childhood, I wanted to do forensic science. I really wanted to be an investigator. At least I thought I wanted to be an investigator. But I think my heart was always in teaching. And so once that changed and I decided that I wanted to be a teacher, I really wanted to be a Black History teacher. We had one Black History teacher at a high school, and to me, he was a hero. He didn't even know I existed. There was a waiting list to get in his class. I was never able to get into his class. But to me, he was a hero. Like, kids was always around him. And I was like, wow, like, that's, to me, was like a real life hero. And so, did not think that I would graduate high school. Did not think I was going to go to college. It was just a dream, to become a teacher. And the reason I wanted to become a teacher was because in the area that I lived in, all the, basically the teachers that I had, they came from the outskirts, they came from the suburbs, and we were an inner city school. And so you got a stipend, you got more money.
It kind of felt like y'all was rescuing us, like, just doing to look good.
Well, in a way. I feel like they did it for the money. You couldn't, because if you came because we were considered a high risk school, in our area. And so you got paid more money to be at a high risk school. And so I didn't feel like they loved us. I didn't feel like they cared about us. I didn't feel like they could understand, the stuff that was going on at my home. I didn't feel like I could tell them what was happening. And so I guess the moment that I decided to become a teacher was because I wanted students to be able to relate to somebody, students to be able to confide in somebody, students